We'll have some Zoomers joining. Yeah.
Being a friend that she does group over here, so.
So I have my technology a little bit closer to me, so hopefully you guys can hear me. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah.
Okay, I hope that's for you, and you can hear me in the back. Okay. Awesome. We're gonna get started on our backs. Hey, welcome. So making your way to your back, settling in. Inviting some big breaths here. Allowing yourself any sort of body scan. Checking in. Making your way from the bottom of the feet all the way through the front of your head. As you check in with each body part, letting it relax into the ground. Letting it feel heavy as if you're feeling sand filling or settling into your back body. Your arms are heavy, your feet are heavy. Taking note in of any textures of the ground you're laying on, of the clothes you're wearing. Tapping into how everything is feeling as we enter our practice. Inviting some big breaths, and we're going to do a 3-part breath. So starting with filling in the belly, continuing the inhale to fill in the chest, continuing that inhale to fill the very top of your breath, and then letting it slowly out, maybe opening the mouth, letting it fully empty. Do that again, inhaling into belly, to the chest, to the very top of your breath. And then exhaling it all out of your mouth. Going through that maybe a couple more times on your own breath. It's allowing us to really slowly enter this practice, connecting with the breath. Gently let your breath return to a natural rhythm. I wanted to share a few words. I've shared them before. It's from Emergent Strategy. But I need them regularly. So Adrienne writes, what my meditation teachers have shared with me is that meditation is about choosing where my attention goes, training my attention. And that when I am overcome by sadness, loss, anger, joy, desire, restlessness, or other emotions, it helps to be able to drop into myself and choose to be with the emotions intentionally, to listen for what is needed. This has been a path into emergent strategy. The more I listen, the more I understand the interconnectedness of the world and my place in it, my insignificance, my wholeness, our collective potential and beauty. Taking a few more breaths here, taking a moment to check in with where you want your attention to be in this practice. If there's any intention, it could simply be your breath. Let our arms come over our heads, just giving like ourselves a big morning stretch, reaching arms away from feet, taking up a lot of space. And then letting the hands and feet go towards your right, so making like a banana shape here. Breathing into the left side of the body, maybe crossing a foot over ankle. Breathing into the side body. Slowly coming back to center. Again, extending long and making your way to the other side. Banana on the other side. Slowly coming back to center. And then bringing our knees into our chest. Giving yourself a seat, making yourself feel very small and tight. And then we're going to extend long, so extending feet and arms, extending again in opposite direction. We can stay on the ground. Taking an inhale here. And then exhale, bringing knees in, chest in, and making yourself small. So it's feeling the opposite here, and feeling both really tiny. And then on your own timing, inhaling or exhaling, really connecting with whatever breath comes to you, expanding long, stretching out. One more time, breathing in, feeling really tight, really small, protected, and expanding long. We'll bring our knees in again. And then we can begin to invite some rocks along the length of your spine. Maybe taking some pauses in both pose. And we'll meet in child's pose, crossing our legs, eventually reaching our hands forward. Knees can be close together or wide. Maybe taking some big breaths into your mats. Maybe rocking the forehead back and forth. Again, grounding ourselves here. Checking in with where we're making contact with the ground. Inhale, we're gonna shift into a tabletop. And then letting this really just unfurl onto our stomach. So bringing our elbows close in, bringing our chest down to the ground. And then shifting into Sphinx pose, coming up onto our forearms, being gentle here. And letting our right ear meet right shoulder. Dropping it low, looking towards our chest. And opposite ear. And letting this turn into any sort of organic neck stretch, some circles. Looking over our left shoulder, we might turn that right hand in and reach back just for a gentle quad stretch. You could think about maybe pressing that foot into our hands, breathing into the sensation in the front of the quad. And exhale, we can let our head lower to the mat, maybe on our hands or forearms. Big belly breath into our mat here. And inhale, coming back into our Sphinx, looking over our right shoulder, adjusting that left arm for support, and then reaching back for the top of that left or right foot. And maybe you're pressing that foot down or pressing the hand into the top of your foot. And exhale, releasing down. Placing our palms into the mat, shifting back into child's pose. Inhale, shifting into our tabletop. Again, letting our chest come down. We can sort of stick our tailbone out a little bit, chest lowers to the ground, and then coming into a cobra. Shoulders roll back and down, and we press our palms into the ground, lifting our chest up. Big breath here. And then exhale back to child's pose. We're gonna go through that a couple more times, letting our back unfurl. So you might look like you go through a tabletop, but you kind of just roll through it as you let your chest come down, coming into cobra. And then coming back into child's pose. Really thinking about our spine undulating, maybe like a snake. Doing this again on your own breath, no rush. And then tucking the toes, we'll meet in down dog. So lifting our hips up. Take a moment here to bend and stretch the legs. Yeah, look at any little kinks here. Feeling our palms firmly pressing into the ground. Nice. I always like to remind everyone that this is your practice, so bringing yourself to it fully and using my words really just as a guide for this evening. Inhale, we'll shift into plank and we'll hold this for 3 breaths. Option to lower your knees if you need. Placing the fullness of our hands, all the fingers pressing into the ground. Core pulls towards our spine. And on your third exhale, lowering slowly all the way down to your mat. Resting your hands. And then coming into cobra or up dog, dropping the shoulders and then lifting the chest up. And then releasing back into down dog, tucking the toes. If you need to go through a tabletop, however you want to get there. Big inhale here. And exhale. Connecting breath to movement. We'll inhale into our plank again. And exhale, lowering all the way down. Coming into cobra or up dog, lifting the chest up. And meeting back in down dog. A big breath here. And then exhale, we'll lower our knees down to the mat. And going right into your cat-cow. Connecting your breath, you're dropping the belly, lifting the chest. And then exhale, cat, arching the spine. Letting this take any organic formation here, any circles. Looking for the shoulder, stretching the wrists. Meeting back in our tabletop. We'll continue some cat and cow flow as we get warmed up. So together, we'll inhale and drop the belly. Exhale to cat. Inhale to our neutral spine, tucking the toes, and then lifting the hips back into down dog. Take a big breath here. Another inhale. And exhale, dropping our knees, coming into tabletop again. Again, inhale, dropping the belly. And exhale to cat. Inhale, neutral spine, tucking the toes and lifting back into our down dog. Big breath here. And our next exhale, lowering our knees down. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, dropping the belly. And exhale, cat. Inhale, neutral spine, tucking the toes and shifting back. Looking to in between our hands, we'll walk our feet forward, meeting in a forward fold. Letting the feet be about hips width apart. You can grab opposite shoulders here. Keep a slight bend in your knees and offer any little movement here, maybe. Any swaying. We'll step that, we'll let our hands come down to the mat. And then step that left leg back and lowering your knee, coming into a low lunge. That, shin comes down, arms lift up. Pressing that back shin into the ground, dropping the shoulders, lifting our chest up. Inhale, taking a slight arc here, shining our chest towards the ceiling or sky. And then exhale our hands down, placing the left hand into the ground and open up towards your right for a twist. If you'd like to reach back for that foot for more of a quad stretch. And then releasing that hand down, shifting the hips back, coming into a runner's stretch, maybe taking a moment in like a halfway lift, and then letting the chest melt forward. Head hangs heavy. Inhale, shifting back into our low lunge, stepping that back foot forward and meeting again in our forward fold. Again, take a moment here, maybe grabbing opposite elbows, offer a little movement here. Allow yourself to be buoyant. Releasing the hands, placing the palms on the ground, and we'll step that right foot back. Lowering the knee, coming into a low lunge on this left side, arms up. Shoulders are dropped and we're pressing that back shin into the ground, giving us support. Checking in with our core. Inhale, letting the chest expand up towards the ceiling or sky. And then exhale that left arm down right hand, and then opening up towards the left. There we go. Hanging out here, maybe reaching back for that foot, for an added quad stretch. Exhale, releasing that, and then shifting the hips back, coming into a runner's stretch. Letting the chest be a bit upright, expand before letting yourself melt forward. Head hangs heavy. And breathing in the sensation here in the back of the leg. Maybe the glutes. shifting our weight forward, stepping onto that left foot, coming into a low lunge again, back forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming all the way up to standing, arms lift up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Taking a moment here, you can leave your hands at heart center, letting them fall to the side in mountain pose. Checking in with our uprightness here, feeling crown of our head, above our shoulders, floating above our rib cage, floating above our hips. We're floating on our knees or on our ankles. Checking in with where that all is today. Starting with our feet really firmly planted into the ground. Inhale, arms lift up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, planting your hands into the mat. Stepping back into your down dog. Shifting into plank. Lowering the low plank, coming into cobra or up dog. And then tucking the toes, meeting back in down dog. Big inhale and exhale here. Taking a big breath in. And exhale, looking forward, stepping or hopping to the top of your mat. And then inhale, coming all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. Big inhale and exhale. Mount pose. Inhale, arms lift up. And exhale, forward fold, slight bend in our knees. Halfway lift. And exhale, planting our hands into the mat. Stepping back, going through your flow. Whatever this looks like for you. Taking any modifications, cobra or up dog. Getting back in our down dog. On your next exhale, looking forward, stepping both feet to the top of the mat, and inhaling all the way up to standing. And hands to heart center. We'll go through our sun salutation. Inhale, arms lift up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, planting your hands into our mat, going through your flow, stepping back. Big breath here. Inhale, lifting that right heel up towards the sky. And we're gonna step it forward, coming into a high lunge. Feeling our front foot firmly planted into the ground, allowing our feet to be on two different train tracks. Dropping the shoulders and releasing any tension where we don't need it. And then letting our left hand lower, keeping our right hand up, opposite. Let our right hand come down, left arm stays up. And we're gonna let ourselves bend a little bit towards the right, just enhancing the sort of stretch in the front of that left hip. And then letting this turn into a twist, a twisted high lunge. So opening our chest up towards the right. And exhaling, releasing the hands down to the mat, pushing back into down dog, taking a big breath here. Inhale, lifting that left foot up to the side, two-legged dog. And Exhale, bringing knee to nose, stepping that foot forward, coming into high lunge on the other side. Breathing into that right hip. And relaxing wherever we don't need to be holding any tension here. Your next exhale, letting that left hand lower, and then letting that right hand shift a little bit, sort of arching. You can think of it sort of like a wilted flower, enhancing this sensation in the right hip, front, right of the leg, and letting this open into a twisted high lunge. Exhale, releasing the hands to the top of the mat, stepping that back foot forward. Inhale, coming all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands center. Inhale, arms reach up, clasp our hands together, reaching up and over towards our right. Feeling our feet firmly planted into the ground. Banana, standing banana. Length along the left side of the body. And come back to center and to the other side. And that opposite foot into the ground. And back to center. Slight arch here, finding our chest upwards. And exhale, releasing forward fold, letting our knees be a little buoyant. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, planting our hands into the mat, and then going through your flow, meeting in down dog. Inhale, that right leg up, three-legged dog. And then exhale, bringing that knee to nose and stepping it forward, coming into our high lunge again, arms lift up. Lowering that that right arm, letting the left arm droop over, and letting this turn into a twist. Keeping it an upright twist or letting your hands come to heart center and connecting elbow to thigh. Wherever your twist is, maybe bringing some attention to your sit bones and the crown of your head. If you can visualize that twist here, wherever it is. And then letting our left hand come down to the mat. We're gonna step into a side plank. So that right foot is going to come behind and right next to that on top of the left. Option to lower a knee if you need. Taking any version here that you feel up for today. And then we'll all meet in this modified side plank, lowering that knee down. Breathing into the right side body. And we're gonna shift our weight a little bit more towards our hands and coming into more of a balance, trying to lift that toe off the ground. Nice. And exhale, we'll let knee and hands come back down to the mat. Take a cat and cow here. Let it be indulgent. And we'll meet back in down dog. Taking a few big breaths here, maybe exhaling out of your mouth. Inhale, lifting that left heel up towards the sky, stepping it forward, coming into our high lunge on the left, arms up. And then your exhale, letting that left hand come down, that right arm droops over, and feeling length in the front of that right hip. And letting this organically come into our twist, whatever version you'd like to take, facing our left, connecting elbow to thigh, our arms extended. Releasing that right hand to the mat. And then stepping that left foot back, meeting it on top of your right for a side plank, taking any variation here, lowering a knee if you need. This is your practice, whatever your body is calling for. And then everyone lowering that knee down. Feeling this length here from edge of the outside of that right foot through fingertips. And then shifting into that hand, coming into this balance. And lots of micro muscles working hard to thus floating here. And exhale, releasing knee and hand, taking a cat and cow. And then meeting in child's pose. Take a few breaths here. Checking in, grabbing any water. Your next couple breaths will meet in down dog. We'll continue building on some of the movement we're doing. Inhale, lifting that right heel up towards the sky. And then stepping it forward, coming into our high lunge. Really trying to connect our breath to movement as we let that right hand down. And then coming into our twist, your version of this twist. Exhale, that left hand comes down to the mat, coming into our side plank, facing the right. That right foot comes here. And exhale, we'll let that knee come down. Take a nice stretch here, feeling that hand maybe shooting above your head. And then shifting our weight into that hand, lifting the back leg. And then here we're going to, thinking really about our hand-foot connection. Inhale, and we might think of slightly arching here. And then exhale, bring our knee to elbow, so kind of front to side front end. And inhale, expanding, long, hands extended opposite direction. And exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, expand. Maybe we might think of our foot and hand touching, even though they probably won't. And exhale, then knee to elbow. Inhale, extend one more time. And then let that knee come down to the mat. We're gonna come into a threaded needle. So you might take a moment here, letting that right hand come up, and it's gonna twist right through. Stay here for 5 to 10 breaths. Yeah, using that left hand can support you in a variety of ways. Connect your hands together, or extend it above your head or next to your face. Here, maybe we can bring our attention to this twist in the spine, tailbone crown connection. If you'd like balance, you can extend that left leg behind you. Either toe on the ground or it lifts up. Noticing how that changes the sensation of the twist. Letting that knee come down. We'll unwind out of this twist. And allow yourself another cat and cow. Before making your way back into down dog. can stay in down dog, or if you'd like to go through a flow, you're welcome to that too. Inhale, lifting that left heel up towards the sky, legged dog. And exhale, knee to nose, and step it forward into our high lunge. Lowering that left arm, reaching towards the left and opening up into our twist. Exhale, releasing that right hand to the ground, coming into our side plank. Left foot on top. And then lowering that right knee to the mat. Take a nice long stretch. That left hand reaches towards the top of your head. And then shifting our weight forward into our hand, finding this balance. You might have to adjust that placement of the chin. Inhale, extending long here. And then exhale, knee to elbow, our side plank. Inhale, expand. And exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, expand. And one more, I think. And then expand and letting our knee come down to the mat. We can let our left arm thread through, or thread the needle on the other side. Taking your arm variation. Maybe taking a leg balance here, sending that right leg behind you. And releasing that foot down, unwinding out of your twist. Taking another cat and cow here. We'll take our time, maybe if you need a child's pose. Eventually we'll be back in down dog. Grabbing a sip of water. Needing lots of reminders to stay hydrated lately. We'll meet in down dog. Taking your time, we're in no rush. Inhale, lifting that right heel up towards the sky, and then let that hip open, that knee can bend, letting it hang, or maybe inviting some circles here, feeling that opening of the hip. Nice. Turning that foot in, bringing that knee in and stepping it forward, coming into a high lunge. Exhale, lowering that right hand down, stretching a bit to our side, and letting this circle and open up into warrior two. Might be a little wobbly. Maybe it's the ground. Feeling the openness of our warrior two. Hips are open, chest is broad, arms reaching in opposite direction. Inhale, reverse our warrior, reach it back. exhale, side angle. Connecting elbow to thigh and extending that left hand long. Inhale, coming back to warrior two, stretching that front leg, shifting the hips back, coming into triangle, reaching for that shin. Left arm reaches up towards the sky, feeling ourselves as we're in between some books on a bookshelf. Trying not to stick out the tailbone. We'll release our left hand down and coming into a pyramid pose. So we'll step that back foot in a bit. And you need to take a moment upright, maybe taking a bit of a halfway lift here, where we let ourselves release into this stretch and balance. Separate our feet a little bit if we need some balance. Bringing our attention to the sensations, knowing what feels sustainable, what we might need to ease out of, and letting that be. So here we're going to shift your weight a little bit into that front leg and meet in an airplane. So we can begin lifting that back leg up a little bit, lifting our hands off the ground. We have the balance, firmly pressing that right foot into the mat. Feeling connection with our back and our glute. One more big breath here. And exhale, releasing into a forward fold. Offer a little bend in the knees to our forward fold here. And then bending the left knee and placing the left hand on the ground, opening up into a twist towards the right. Maybe wrapping around the back. Nice. And exhale, releasing our hand down, landing our hands into the mat, and we'll meet back in down dog. Option to go through your flow. Inhale, lifting that left heel up towards the sky, opening the hip and letting it hang, inviting any hip circles or movement here. Extending that leg long, turning the hips in, bringing that knee to nose, coming into our high lunge. Arms lift up. Dropping that left hand down, letting ourselves bend here, turning this into a circle, turning it into a warrior two. However to do that here. Inhale, reverse our warrior. And then exhale, side angle, connecting elbow to thigh. Inhale, coming back to warrior two, stretching that front leg and shifting our hips back, coming into our triangle pose. Make any adjustments with the legs. Trying not to stick out our tailbone, feeling our left, right fingertips reaching up towards the sky. Exhale, releasing that hand down, stepping the back foot in, coming into our pyramid pose. And if you need to be upright a little bit, maybe take a moment and a halfway lift before releasing into our pyramid. Shifting our weight into that front leg a bit, and then beginning to test our balance, coming into our airplane. So that right leg lifts off the ground, firmly planting that left foot into the mat. Arms along the length of our torso. And exhale, releasing into the ground, forward fold. Letting that right knee bend, right hand presses into the ground, twisting towards the left. And it can be long or wrap around or back. Exhale, releasing into our forward fold. Inhale, taking a halfway lift. And exhale, planting our hands into the mat, stepping back, opting to go through one last flow. And then inhale, we'll lift that right heel up towards the sky. And we're going to set up for pigeon. So bringing that right knee to the right wrist, setting up that chin wherever it can be. Alternatively, you can also take a figure 4 on your back. Maybe take a moment here to extend the chest long before exhaling and releasing forward, letting ourselves sink into this pigeon pose. Using any sort of props or anything you might have. Setting up for a sustainable pigeon. Here can we release any tension we don't need to be holding. Releasing into the ground, letting the ground hold us. If you'd like, we'll take about 10 more breaths here. Option to reach back for that right or left, top of the left foot if you want an added quad experience. Or just hang out right where you're at, again, knowing what you need. Releasing out of that. We'll make our way back into a down dog, slowly coming out of this, maybe offering some hip circles, whatever you need. Any sort of transition to neutralize yourself in between pigeons. On your own timing, you know what to do to set up for the left side. Taking your time to get there, bringing that left knee into left wrist. Allowing the side to be different, allowing yourself to experience it anew. letting yourself settle in. Taking about 10 more breaths here. I'd like to reach back for that right leg. Offering a little more sensation in the front of your left leg. And as we come out of this side, we'll meet on our seat. You need to push back into a down dog, going for that. Again, whenever you need to just recover from our pigeon, but we'll meet on a seat. Coming into a float pose eventually. Just checking in with our core. Feet can legs be parallel, or you can extend them. Taking 3 big breaths here. And your third exhale, slowly lowering as slow as you can, possibly lower, trying to let our feet and head reach the ground at almost the same time. And then when you make it to the ground, just really relax there. Let go. Allowing our breath to expand. Bringing our knees into, or feet in towards our sit bones, preparing for bridge. Taking a big breath in, and then exhale, letting the hips float up, pressing our feet into the mat, hips float up, palms can be along our side or connect underneath. A slight tuck of the chin here, feeling length from throat through our knees. And exhale, lowering, maybe offering a little windshield wiper with the knees back and forth. Do that one more time, one more bridge, so facing to the ground. Taking a big breath, and on your exhale, letting the hips float up. And exhale, releasing our hips down. Again, maybe windshield wipering them. And then we'll let the knees fall out, landing in a cobbler pose. So knees go wide, feet are together. You can place the palms, they can just lay beside you, or they can rest on your belly or chest. Whatever brings you comfort here. Letting gravity do its job. No need to hold anything here. What does our breath feel like here? Staying here as long as you'd like. And then you can use this next minute or so for any other movement you might need. It could be reversing this, bringing your knees in together. It could be happy baby. It could be just going right to Shavasana. Just letting yourself be guided by any movement that allows you some rest. As we find in way into Shavasana, I just want to share these words one more time. What my meditation teachers have shared with me is that meditation is about choosing where my attention goes, training my attention. And that when I'm overcome by sadness, loss, anger, joy, desire, restlessness, or other emotions, it helps to be able to drop into myself and choose, to be with the emotions intentionally, to listen for what is needed. This has been a path into emergent strategy. The more I listen, the more I understand the interconnectedness of the world and my place in it, my insignificance, my wholeness, our collective potential and beauty. There's nothing left to do. Begin inviting some big breaths into the belly. Letting that breath expand, maybe leading to some movement in the fingers and toes. Gently on your own time, maybe pushing to one side. Meet in a seat to close our practice together. Letting our hands find anywhere comfortable on our thighs or on our chest. We'll take 3 big inhales and exhales together to close our practice. Deep breath in. allowing your head to bow forward, honoring yourself and your practice. We're practicing in community today. Namaste. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, internet friends.
Thank you very much. It's awesome.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, Christine. Cool. See ya.